Welcome back. This is Don Potter, National Phonics Primer, a universal safety net for literacy. And we're going to be looking at exercise 49. And this is a part of our ending, our spatial endings, I call this. These are suffixes. And this is a very important lesson. And it's going to be a very great help with reading and especially a great help for your spelling. So let's launch into this. Notice we have the endings Y, then the plural ending, we add ES, we have IES, and then the past tense ending ED. And as in the words hurry, hurries, hurried. And here I'm going to show you the principle. It's going to apply throughout this whole exercise. The Y, we cannot use an I at the end of a word in English, and if we put an E there, it would be silent, a silent E. So we can't use an E there, we can't use an I there. So instead we substitute the Y, hurry, and that can be considered either a short vowel, hurry, or most people think that it consider it a long E, hurry. Either way, different dictionaries show it different, but you'll hear it as you speak it. To me, it sounds like a long E. Now, when we add the plural, the S, we add ES because it ends in a vowel, so we have to add the E there, ES. And now we have hurries, and that Y becomes an I because it's no longer at the end of the word, so we can use an I, and we prefer to use an I when we can. And then the past tense, we have hurried, and again, notice the Y. When we add the ED at the end, the Y becomes an I, hurried. Now we have with happy, we have happy. Again, notice the doubling of the consonant to keep that A short. Happier, happiest, and happily. And so in all of these endings, the comparative endings there, and the adverb ending on the end here, the last one, happily, the Y there becomes an I in each one of those. Okay, let's look at our words here, and we can view these as what I call transformations, or just a change. We go from candy to, when we add the S, we have to add the ES, and that gives us candies, and now we've switched to the I. And now let's look at the other ones quickly. Story becomes stories. Fairy becomes fairies, more than one. Pony becomes ponies, and I would like you to notice that is a consonant vowel, and so it's an open syllable, pony and ponies. And when the syllable, that's two syllables, pony, and when the syllable, especially an accented syllable, ends with a vowel, it's going to have its long sound. Now we look at berry, and that gives us berries. Baby, we have babies, again, Y becoming an I. Party, parties. And lady becomes ladies, and again, notice it divides here. That's lady, not laddie. If we divided it after the D, it would be a short vowel, and that would be laddie. This is lady. Then we have carry, carries, and carried. Hurry, hurries, hurried, and again you notice the you can look at it basically as IE with the E sound, hurried. Then we have happy, happier, and again notice the doubling of the consonant there to keep the vowel short, happy. Happier, so it'll help you in your spelling. Remember to put those two consonants that double that consonant. Happiest, I used to say my dad was the happiest man I ever met. And he was definitely my wonderful father, Orson D. Potter. And finally, we have happily. And then we have funny. He was also one of the funniest men I ever knew. Funny and funnier, funniest, and funnily. Now we're going to take a pause here, and we're going to raise. I'm going to lower, go down, and we're going to look at the words that this is the introduction. Now we're going to look at the words that you are going to be timed on with this, with exercise 49. Welcome back. And now we're going to be looking at these endings. And notice the first group up here is going to have, let me turn on my little marker here. These are all going to end in the Y. As you remember, you cannot use an I at the end of the word. And then the next group is going to have the IES ending, and then the IED, IER, and EST. So I've put them into these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. And so listen very careful to this. Make sure you can stop the video and read all these words yourself. So if you need to listen to it as many times as you need to. If it takes 2 or 3 days to get it down, or a week or a month or however long, just work till you can read every one of these accurately, and always be thinking about what the word means, which is why we use them in sentences as we teach these lessons. So here we go, and note carefully the doubling of the consonant in many of these words. So here we go. We have Betty, that's a name. Billy, that's a name. Bobby, I had an uncle Bobby. Robert, we call him Bobby. Bunny, again, we're keeping that vowel short in a C, V, C word if your teacher teaches that. Next one, notice there's only one Z. Therefore, the O ends a syllable. It's going to be cozy. Double consonant, daddy. Here we have the AI spelled, or long A spelled AI, daily, like the daily paper. Dizzy, we doubled the consonant to make it short. He spun in a circle and got dizzy. Now we have 50, and you actually have a double, the F and the TH, so that is a consonant, vowel, consonant, so that's going to be short, 50. Next we have foggy. Be careful that you don't turn that into froggy. Foggy. 40, and the OR there, or 40. Fussy, short vowel. Gladly, they're not a doubled vowel, but are not a double consonant, but there are 2 consonants, so it still closes out the syllable. Gladly. Gravy, aha, 1 syllable, so that's going to be long. And this is interesting because it's consonant, consonant, vowel, but it's still a vowel at the end. Gravy, and I might mention it's accented on the first syllable. Next is a 3-syllable word. Handily. Handily. That means he could do it really good. Oh, I forgot to mention gravy you put on your mashed potatoes. Or some people put it on bread. Next we have hardly, and that AR there is an R control vowel. Next one's really interesting. This is a plant. Ivy, you can have regular ivy, or you could have poison ivy. And again, notice there's only 1 consonant there, so that vowel is all by itself at the end of its syllable. So anyway, that's ivy. Next we have jury. The jury, a panel of people who decide if somebody's guilty or innocent. The little kitty. that likes to chase the mice. It's very likely you can read this word. And notice here you have the silent E that makes the I long, but it's not at the end of the word. It's at the end of the syllable. A lot of people maybe don't know that. Likely. Mary. This is a pretty tricky one. It's not Mar. It's not A-R-R. It's Mary. And I believe because the A is at the end of that syllable, huh? Mary. Mary. Next we have muddy, double consonant. Navy, like the ships, or I didn't tell you that. Mary was a name. Muddy is like when it rains and you play in the mud. And then navy, again, there's only one consonant. So that syllable ends with a vowel and it's going to be long and it is accented. Navy. Next we have nearly. This is nearly. Nearly reading a word's not good enough. You got to know exactly what it is. Here's nutty. Maybe you've seen the movie The Nutty Professor. You can also put nuts on something and say it's nutty. Next, we're going to have a party. Peggy, 2 G's. You know the doubling rule by now. I'm sure I've mentioned it enough times. You should be an expert on the doubling rule. Penny, 2 consonants, keeps it short. I have a penny in my pocket. Pretty. That's kind of tricky to get this correctly. Pretty. She was a very pretty girl. Shady. This is interesting. A. Shady. Only one consonant. It ends a syllable. And here you have a consonant digraph, which is one sound. So we'll just put C. CV, and it's long. Shady. You go out under the tree, it's shady. Another use of that is somebody that maybe is dishonest in business. They'll say they're shady. Next we have 60. No doubled consonant, but we do have 2 consonants. So that X keeps that I short. Next we have sleepily. 3 consonants, sleepily, and that I, there's kind of it by itself, sleepily. It's not accented, so it sleepily, it becomes like a schwa. Next we have snappy. You like snap your finger, or a snappy person, somebody that dresses real snappy. Again, doubling, short A, sadly. No doubling, but we have 2 consonants, which makes that A short. Thirsty, and I am a little bit thirsty, so maybe I'll have a little bit of my coffee here. 1 cup a day, early morning. Next, we have a number, 30. Got the IR as one of those R control vowels. Next one is interesting. Here we have 20. And this is interesting. Here you have consonant, vowel, consonant. So you're going to divide those consonants, and that makes that vowel short. Wow, you're learning everything. You're going to be a phonics expert, aren't you? And phonics experts are people who become good readers. Oh my goodness. Here we have 2, that's an ugly word. Here we have 2 consonants together, G and an L, and the word is ugly. So that's a funny, it's a funny sound there. Ugly. And finally we have witty. A witty person is a person who comes up with funny things to say. I have joke books in my classroom that I use all the time. My father was a very witty person, and William Shakespeare was the master of wit. Now we're going to do the IES. Let's go quickly here. Here we have bodies. There were 6 people on the elevator. Bodies, 6 bodies. They're bodies. Candies. Oh, yummy, yummy. I don't know what's your favorite candy. Mine's anything. It's dark chocolate. Hurries. Mr. Potter hurries through these lessons. Oh, is the next one laddies or ladies? That's a good question. Well, if you count the consonants, you only got one. So we're going to divide the syllable there. And it's not laddies, it is ladies. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies. And you know that because you know the doubling rule. Consonant doubling. We didn't double the consonant, so the vowel's going to be long. But now you got puppies. 2 consonants, so it's going to be and you certainly don't want it to be you. Next we have ed is past tense. And so here we have carried, and again that Y became an I, and then scurried, like a squirrel scurried up a tree. Now we have the comparatives. We have chillier. It's chillier today than it was yesterday. Roomier. Some cars are roomier than others. And uglier. Some pictures are uglier than others. Then the last is more comparatives, superlatives. Here we have dirtiest. Not dirtier, but dirtiest. The dirtiest child played in more dirt. Silliest. The silliest person acted the silliest. He was sillier than everybody else. And the sunniest. It was the sunniest day of the year. It's been a great pleasure to do this lesson or exercise. And I pause there just for a second to go up and to notice again, this is lesson 49. A little longer lesson than some, but a very, very important lesson worth watching several times. Make sure that you master this. And again, make sure you can spell these words as well as read them.